Hey, so today we are gonna talk about hard work, working hard, hard work, you gotta get the job done. So we have to talk about hard work, okay? Listen to your mother because she's right, okay? And I support a life of leisure and ease and luxury. It's what I want. This is what I want. But hard work is human nature. Hard work, human nature. Hard work, being alive. Hard work, being an earth being. Hard work is our existence. Now, hard doesn't need to be a bad word. Hard isn't a bad word. And I'm gonna make a connection here, and it might be a little bit unhinged, but listen to me because I'm right. Hard. Now, when things are hard, it's a sign of life. It's a sign of vitality, right? Think about men. Think about those who have a member down below. When it's hard, that means something's gone right. That means something's working. That means something's able to be produced that can create new life. Okay? Hard is good. Hard is not bad. Hard is just hard. It just is what it is. Rocks are hard. Rocks aren't bad. Mountains are hard. Mountains aren't bad. Bones are hard. Bones are tough. Bones aren't bad. Like, you want the foundation of your house to be tough, right? You don't want it to be bad. Concrete is hard. Concrete isn't bad. So hard, we need to reassign the connotations. Hard doesn't need to have a bad connotation. Work should not have a negative connotation. Some things are hard work, but they can be really, really good. Farming, hard work, really, really good, really, really important. Teaching, hard work, really, really important. Politics, hard work, really, really important. Being a parent, hard work, really, really important. And all of those things are also things that can be extremely fulfilling. And a lot of the best and most fulfilling work is hard work. Even in the arts, where, it gets, I think, the reputation of being a little more easygoing, free-flowing. As a creative, it's incredibly hard work. This is even hard work. It's a different kind of hard work, completely, from teaching, which is another thing that I'm doing right now, which is very hard work. But it's still hard work, and it's still incredibly fulfilling. The key to hard work is to find yourself a job that is hard, and that is hard work, hard labor, real tough work, that you care about. You need to do hard work that you care about. That's why for so long I have been able to see myself as a mother and see that as my work, because I know that motherhood is hard work. I know that parenting is going to be hard. It's going to be taxing. It's going to be draining. It's going to be thankless. It's going to be. I know that. But I want children. I love children. I love whoever your father is, or your mother, or whoever. I love my person. So it's going to be hard work, but it's going to be so fulfilling that it doesn't matter. It don't matter. So you need to find the hard work that you care about. But either way, you have to do the work. And that's what this conversation is about today, okay? Because I am learning that I was left completely unprepared, completely underprepared. And wow, this orange looks really nice, actually. See, I've been thinking about colors recently. Well, recently as in within the past 30 minutes. But I was left completely unprepared for adulthood, okay? And this is not my parents' fault. This is the school system's fault, because kids spend most of their days during the week, most of their time in school. You're not spending it with your parents unless you're homeschooled. So it's really on the schools. It's really on the school system. high school, elementary school, middle school, university, to prepare young people for adulthood. And I really think it's very important to distinguish young adulthood from adulthood. So when you watch this video, my lovely little blah, 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 my lovely little babies, it's probably going to be most beneficial for you when you are a young adult. But it can be helpful no matter how old you are. And for those of you watching who are not my children, I hope this shows up in the best timing for you. But let's talk about it, okay? Hard work is unavoidable. I am a part of Generation Z, and we are being characterized by the fact that we are not loyal to our jobs and that we tend to want an easier life than our parents had. And we want work to be easier. We want our work culture to be more balanced, healthier, which none of these are bad things to me. And we overall have less tolerance for some of the trials that generations before have just had to go through. A lot of this, I think, is justified. And I was talking to this about my sisters, and my sister Zanisha was saying, because I was talking to her about the fact that I think we actually need to wake up a little bit and be like, and realize that some of these things, it is what it is. That's just life. She was saying that, the good part about what's happening with Generation Z is that we are making the corporate world and the work industries, employers, have to change the way they function, especially in places like America and Canada. I think in Europe, I don't know, but I think they are known for having a little bit better work-life balance culture. I don't know. But in Canada and America, work life it's work. It's work. Work. A little bit of life. And I think it might be a little bit similar here, where, work is so important, work is so exhausting, and there's not a lot of balance. And so the reaction of Gen Z to this work culture and making it so that they don't care and are willing to quit is forcing change, which I think is really, really positive. So all of that I completely support. And I also completely support people wanting their soft life and blah, 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 blah. But what I am realizing, and this is from somebody who has had the perspective of, I've gone through periods of unemployment. I did not get to work as a kid. So I didn't get to work as a teenager because I was living in the States and I didn't have a visa. So I worked, but I never got paid. And I never got to have a job. I had little odd jobs and barely. So I didn't get to grow up working as a teenager, even though I would have loved to have saved, to make money. So my first job was at 18 at McDonald's in Canada. And I kept that job all the way through my first year of university. And then I quit because I was like, fuck this. And then since then, I've worked as a receptionist, and I've worked with children's programming, and I've worked in childcare. And I worked a little bit with publishing, with the publishing industry and magazine work. So that's the kind of work that I have done. This job that I am doing now, being a teacher here in Korea and teaching English, is the hardest job I have ever had in my entire life. This is incredibly hard work, and it is real work. I would say that all of the other jobs I've ever had are easy, incredibly easy, and a hayride compared to this. And it might not be the same for everybody, because I actually care about this job. I care about the students, and I want to do a good job. So I'm actually developing lesson plans, and I'm trying to figure out how to do good work and how to be a good teacher and blah, blah, blah. So that's part of the reason why it's so hard, because I care. So I'm putting a lot of effort in. And during the beginning of this journey, when I was really beginning to get into teaching, it was a struggle. And when I say it was a struggle, I mean 2 weeks ago and last week and some of this week. Because it's been just about, this might be my second week? No, this is my third week. But this is my second week really having to develop lesson plans and blah, blah, blah. So I'm very much so in the beginning. But what I'm learning is that I had no idea what hard work was, and that I did not have a realistic understanding of what the transition from young adulthood to adulthood looked like. I didn't understand the struggle, and I didn't understand that the struggle was normal, and that's just what happens. So during the very beginning of this journey, I had a lot of times where I was feeling like, this is toxic, this is unhealthy, I can't handle this is not good for me, blah, 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 blah. And I had the feeling of wanting to run a lot. And that came from the fact that I was working so hard, working overtime, bringing work home, sleeping and working. That's what I was doing, sleeping and working, sleeping and working. That's basically all of what last week was. That's what a little bit of this week was. And it was kind of shaking my soul, because I was like, I don't want to live this kind of life. This is what they're talking about with the 9 to 5. I don't want to do this. I was really scared. But I've had a realization, because things have began to ease up, because already I'm starting to begin to learn what my teaching style is, how I work, what works for me. And I'm starting to already have like the foundation of how to do things, because I've been having all these experiences over the past few days, and all of this work that I've developed, that I already have like templates and things like that. So already the burden is beginning to lift, and I'm realizing, oh wait, okay, it's actually not so bad. It's just a bit of really, 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 really hard work in the beginning, and then you start to find your groove. And it's funny, because I met up with a woman who has been here for 6 years now teaching. And she said the first month is hell. The first 3 months, you're finding your pace. And after that, you start to glide. You start to really begin to figure things out. And it's turning out to be quite accurate, because this first month has been hell. And now things are starting to even out and balance out. And so I wanted to share this, because I think that had this happened to me a few years ago, I would have already, if I hadn't already run, I would have been planning my exit. And I can tell you I would absolutely have done this, because a few years ago I did. I had a salaried job that was not hard in the same way. It was not hard work, like hard work. It was hard socially, because there were social problems, and it was hard commuting wise. It was a very long commute, 2 hours there, 2 hours home. So I never felt rested. I never felt relieved. And it was a lot of sitting down. It was a job I didn't like, so that didn't help. But I hated it. I hated how hard it was, and I ran. And in that context, I would say that I'm very grateful that I ran, because there was nothing to stick around for except the money. And that's when you don't stick around. You don't want to keep a job just for the money. That's not worth it. But when a job is really offering you something, like a valuable life lesson, like experience, like tools, like wisdom, like skills, that's when you stick around, even though it's hard. And that is what I'm finding I didn't realize so much about adulthood. First of all, I'm realizing how many opportunities for growth are available within work life. When you are in a field that you care about, you need to find a field that you care about, and then take a job and start to work, and stay committed to that job for at least a year, so you can begin to develop an experience for yourself, a sense of experience, and understanding about what you can do, and what you like to do, and how you like to work. All of these things are really important. And the hard work that I was feeling like I needed to run away from just last week and a little bit of this week, it's hard work that is unavoidable. It's hard work that will find you no matter where you are. Because I hadn't gone through, I was saying to my sisters that I feel like hard work is, it's like the hard work that you can get from a job is equal to like the hard work that you get from like a spiritual awakening. And I feel like when you find a job that you actually enjoy, but it's extremely hard and extremely challenging, you will get the same spiritual insights, maybe in a different way, but you will get the same spiritual insights and knowledge and wisdom and blah, blah, blah that you need, that you would also get from a spiritual awakening. Like, hard work is a great way to develop spiritually because it tests you in so many ways, and it asks you to have faith. It asks you to believe that things will get easier. It asks you to manifest. It asks you to be creative. It asks you to pull from your soul and to figure out, what you're made of, which is exactly what spiritual awakenings do. Spiritual awakenings ask you to work hard, ask you to break down, ask you to sacrifice, ask you to have patience, ask you to believe, to believe, to believe. That's exactly what hard work does. And I think that the spiritual awakening that I went through in 2021 that has lasted all the way until now, and I think is still going on, though I think I'm at a different, it's definitely very different than in the very beginning. Right now, I feel like I'm actually going through some type of heart chakra thing happening because I've been crying so easily in a way that I'm not used to because I'm not really a crier. So I think there's something happening with my heart. I think my heart's opening up. But the spiritual awakening I went through, sometimes I wonder, and by sometimes I mean as in like just now, I'm starting to wonder if I went through such an intense experience of awakening because I never worked before. Like, I never had hard work before. So there was no other way for me to get these lessons in. I got the lessons in through bad relationships, bad friendships, horrible habits, and the spiritual awakening. And to be honest, I think you can get the same lessons through work. I think you can get the same lessons in your work life. And I don't think it's by mistake that you spend so much time working as a human being and that you spend so much time with your work people. Those are like great, easy ways to learn things about yourself, to develop boundaries, to develop skills, to develop blah, blah, blahs with work people. It's the easiest way. It's the greatest way. You don't have to actually develop close relationships with these people, but you can get really intimate insight into who you are through your conversations and your engagements and your experiences with these people, and they can give you insight that carries you through life just from work. I think that there's a wisdom to humans working. I don't think humans are meant to work till the bone, and I don't think they're meant to work day to night, and I don't think they're meant to labor tirelessly where they have no life. I don't think it's meant to be like that. But I do think that there is meant to be a certain amount of hard work in a human being's life to shape them, to build them up, to give them their muscle, to give them their strength. And I think that it being done through the category of career is actually really helpful because it actually ends up benefiting you in so many other ways. If you go through hard work in your career, you develop career skills that can help you progress and climb the ladder and get to an easier position faster. Versus if you're going through all of your hard work in relationships and in spirituality because you're not doing any hard work in your career, then you're kind of stuck career-wise in this limbo of like easy life but no growth, no fulfillment, maybe financial stagnancy, lack of mobility, and then you've just got a bunch of crappy relationships that you're always having to work through and journey through and find lessons through. I just think that hard work and career, it makes more sense to put yourself through that. And I think that hard work will find you no matter what. So I think it makes the most sense to allow yourself to go through a hard work and experience and career rather than forcing that to happen in a relationship instead. Because I really do think it'll find you no matter what. I don't think you can avoid hard work as a human being. I think it'll find you. And so let it be through your job because you need to make money anyways. Unless we're moving to a money-free society, which I just don't think is happening anytime soon. And I don't even think we need to. Like, I think that humans would be so bored if we didn't work, you know? And I think that money is not the source of evil. I think that money is like a fun motivator. It's like a fun thing that we use to get us through life, just like time. And it becomes toxic when people become greedy and weird, but it doesn't have to be. I don't think money is naturally evil, you know? So all of these things can be very positive, and work can be a really interesting way to get to know yourself and understand yourself and develop all of these important life skills. And so just don't avoid hard work, I guess is what I'm saying. And that's what I'm learning right now. You can't avoid it. So know that. But also don't avoid hard career work, professional work. I know that right now it's really positive popular to go for the soft life. And I want a soft life too, shoot. But I think there's some magic to the hard labor that young people will miss out on if we strive too much for, you know, a life of ease. And I understand the I don't dream of labor people. I understand them completely because they're talking about a specific kind of labor. And I don't dream of that either. But there is a certain level of hard work that you cannot avoid in career if you're gonna build actual skills and actual mastery in something professionally. There's a certain level of hard work that you just can't avoid. And so I just think we need to make sure that we're teaching young people that it's that level of hard work and that level of sacrifice is normal, and it's actually good. It's good for you. The sleepless nights, I know it's hard, I know it doesn't feel good, but it's good for you. The bringing work home at the very beginning when you're just beginning to figure out how to do something, blah, blah, that's life. And that's not a negative thing. It sucks, but it's not inherently negative. It's not inherently bad. It's not inherently toxic. This is just part of developing as an adult, developing a sense of independence, developing a sense of mastery within your craft. You know, you're gonna go overtime. You're gonna do that. It's not something that should last your whole life. I'm already starting to feel relief. That's what is good. That's when you know you're in something that's balanced. But like that first week, that second week, that first month, yeah, hell on earth. And that's normal. That's okay. Don't run from that. Stay committed. You have to get through it. You have to go through it. If you quit too early, you're just going to find yourself repeating the lesson again, because I really am of the belief that you cannot avoid hard work. You cannot avoid it. So it'll find you another way. And I don't like the idea of hard work finding you through relationships, which is what I feel like a lot of people are going through. I think that human life for some people has become a little too easy, and they need to bring a little more struggle in. And because it's not coming through work, it's coming through toxic relationships. And for other people, it's coming through like spiritual torment because they just don't have enough hard work in their life. And that's what you need as a human being. I feel like it's like your blood, it's your oxygen, it's your water. Like hard work is part of the human chemistry. So if it's not coming through like career work, and it's not coming through like parent work, it's gonna come through relationships, or it's gonna come through spirituality. And I just don't think we need that. I just don't think you need that. Like, especially the relationship part, maybe the spirituality part, maybe you're gonna develop something spiritually, I don't know. But I think the relationship one, which I feel like I've seen manifest because people don't have anything else keeping them busy, anything else that they're working on, anything else that they care about. It's all about love. And so all of their hard work, and that becomes like their job. And so all of the hard work that they have to go through because they're a human being manifests in their relationships, and it's horrible. And it's so traumatizing. It's not it. So my advice is to find yourself a job that you like. And that job can be being a mom, it can be being a dad, it can be being a musician, it can be being a scientist, it can be being a doctor, it can be being a receptionist, it could be being an assistant, it could be being a teacher, it could be whatever. It could be being a YouTuber, it could be anything. But once you find whatever that lane is for you, and it does not need to be your dream job, because I'm not working a dream job right now. I'm working something that I enjoy, something that I'm interested in, something that keeps me on my toes, something that challenges me. It's not my dream job. It's just something that challenges me, keeps me excited, I'm not bored, keeps me interested, keeps me on my toes, forces me to grow, and I'm interested in. And stay committed to that. Stay committed to that for a period of time that's extended. More than 6 months, I would say. A year, maybe even 2 years. And see what you get from that. You've got to experiment with long-term work. I think that we are right now, I have found with myself, I have had a habit of too much investment in short-term work because it's less commitment and I get to move on to other things and I get to try other things. And it feels too risky, too scary to invest in long-term work. And it's kind of like the stock market. The longer that you invest, the better. The better the outcome. And it's the same thing, I think, for career work, and which I think is what our generation is struggling with, finding their purpose, finding out what you want to do. I'm not quite sure if you're going to just know your purpose. I think if you just follow a path that you're interested in, doesn't need to be your dream, a path that you're interested in, and stay committed to that, something will happen, developments will happen that will lead you to something that you actually that is really, really super fulfilling for you. But you need time. You need time to just sit in it for something to develop. You know what I mean? You need the time. And so that's what I would advise. I would say give yourself the gift of time. Let yourself stay committed to something for a while and see what happens. And if it's not a 9-to-5 job and blah, 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 because doesn't need to be what it is. Maybe it's YouTube. Really do that. Do it like it's your job. Make it hard for yourself. Make yourself have to post multiple videos a day or multiple videos a week, and make sure that you're doing some type of work with the marketing and the thumbnails or whatever the fuck, whatever it means, whatever it is for you. But make it a challenge so that you can grow and get something out of it. And then you can get in your quota of hard work as a human being, and it doesn't have to show up in other places. Because I'm telling you, when you're busy with hard work in your career, you don't have time for a toxic relationship. Who has the time? Who has the time? I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I'm sleeping. I'm using my free time to do something that makes me happy, or I'm working. That's what I'm doing. I don't have time for a toxic relationship. So I really think that hard work in career can save you. It can save you from the other forms of hard work that are just a little too much. Ugh. But it needs to be a career you enjoy. It doesn't need to be your dream, but it needs to be something you like. That's the thing. You've got to find that balance. The work-life balance is great, but what you really need to find is the balance of something I enjoy, something that's hard. Something I enjoy, something that challenges me. That's the kind of work you should be trying to find. You don't need to work your dream job, because I feel like, a dream job is something that's developed, but something you enjoy, something that's hard, and then spend time in that space and see what happens. I'm telling you, there's something there. There's a magic there. That's where the purpose is found. Because it's it might not even end up being that, the purpose is just so much more, it's so much more mystical than an actual job title, or it's a feeling. It's a feeling. Because I was feeling, the video I recorded before this was all about a feeling. I was explaining the best summer of my life, or the best day of my life. It was about the feeling. It wasn't about any particular thing that happened that day. It was all the feelings attached to other feelings, attached to other things, attached to blah, blah, blah. But that's what it is for work and purpose too. And hard work creates purpose. It does. Hard, meaningful work creates purpose. So find that balance between what you enjoy and what challenges you. And in there, you're going to get insight into your purpose, but you need enough time for things to develop. So that's my advice. What's my advice for now? Okay, so I'm glad I did that. I'll see you guys next time when I see you next. See you later. Bye.